In this video, we're going to talk about teaching the basic cues, like life management cues of stay, okay, up, and watch out, right? Now, again, I don't care what language you use as long as you are consistent. So if you're gonna find it easier to teach in a foreign language and have the pain in the ass of learning a new language and remembering what words to use, or the pain in the ass of using your own native language but being diligent in its use. Because when you use these cues, you must always follow it with the picture, right? So the idea is, I'm going to make this sound and I'm going to make that sound always be followed by this picture until the dog begins to correctly interpret which picture is going to come next. So when I say the word, they go, yeah, I know what picture, and they go. This is not heavy compulsion. I am going to kind of just guide them through some things. So we're going to use a little bit of molding, like it's going to be just kind of insist that this is what's going to happen. Like, so when the dog's in front of me and I'm going to walk in that direction rather than stepping over or walking around, I'm going to say watch out, and then I'm going to shuffle right through them. If the dog is in my seat and I'm going to sit down, I'll say watch out, and then I'll shimmy my butt in and move them out of the way, right? That's not heavy compulsion. That's not hammering the dog. It is technically being compulsion, and it's technically compulsion. It's technically I'm applying some pressure to the dog, but it's nothing that anybody that saw would disagree with. The biggest hippie, fairy farts and rainbows person in the world would not disagree with my dog being in the driver's seat, me going watch out, and shooing him off my seat as I sit down. Does that make sense? So, but I'm always going to say the word and follow that word with this picture, so they begin to correctly predict which picture comes next and they can get into compliance. So the basic words that we're going to start using in this, in our house management lifestyle practice, is going to be stay. And in stay, I don't mean in a position. I mean in a geographic location. And in the beginning, when I start that word, I'm going to start it on things that are very obvious geographic boundaries, like a doorway, like the car door. I open the car door, I can say stay. It's pretty obvious. I mean, don't get out of the car. And when they get out of the car, I'm going to put them back in the car. I can say, put them on a couch, say stay. Put them on a dog bed, stay. On the porch, at the stairways, whatever. But usually I'm thinking elevated surfaces or doorways and thresholds in the very beginning. That's the easiest place to make the dog understand the picture that you're talking about. When I say stay, I mean don't get out of this geographic location. If they circle, spin, sit, clean their foot, I don't care, as long as they stay in that geographic area. So if I open the car door and I say stay, I don't care if it's front seat or back seat. I don't care what. I just mean don't get out of the car so I can unload the groceries, right? If I open the door and say stay, I don't care where they go or what they do. They just can't come out the door. So that's my first thing. Most people will say sit at a doorway. I will say stay, because I say what I mean and I mean what I say. I don't care if they sit. I care they don't go out of that geography, right? So stay. And then once I say stay, I expect them to hold that until I release them. How I tell them they are back at liberty is by saying, okay. So if I put the dog, again, English or not, it's your words, you choose your language to live with your dog. I put the dog on the lazy boy and I say, stay. The dog is going to learn to stay on the lazy boy. Now they should stay there until I go, okay, and then they can come off. In the beginning, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to use a little bit of leash pressure or body pressure to teach them not to cross the boundary, not to cross the threshold. And you're also going to have to use a little leash pressure, use a little social pressure to get them to come out of it. Once they will stay at an open doorway, you have to tell them that they can leave. But I'm going to say stay and then force it, and then when I'm ready to break, I go okay, and then show them what I want them to do, bring them out. After a while, you can say stay, and you don't have to use any kind of pressure. And you can go, okay, and you don't have to use any coercion, like any kind of bait or whatever to get them to leave, because they're cool. I'm not using food, I'm not using toys. This is literally just lifestyle stuff. This is just life management, learning how to deal. That's it. Later on, man, I'm gonna use food, I'm gonna use toys to teach obedience and do all this cool stuff. But right now, dude, it's just learning how to live with me and learning how to live, me learning how to live with a dog. That's it, right? So stay and its release word, okay, right? Watch out means I'm gonna walk through you, push through you, you gotta go, this is my area, I need you to move out of that area. And then up, I use up to tell the dog to get up onto things, right? So the car, a truck bed, a bench, lazy boy, couch, whatever, I can go up and then guide the dog up. I can use the leash, I can use a little bit of spatial pressure, whatever you need to do to get the dog to jump up onto the object. Now, if I just say up and the dog jumps up on the object and then jumps back down, I don't care. Up just means get up onto the object. Once they're up onto the object, I can go stay, and again, if all these things work together synergistically, I say up, they get up, I say stay, they stay on the object. Does that make sense? So it's like up means get up onto this object I am guiding you towards, whether it's an elevated bed, a bench, a lazy boy, a couch, a bed, a truck, a car, whatever, table, whatever. Up means get up onto this object. Stay means stay in this geographical area. Do whatever you want inside the boundaries, just stay in this geographical location. Watch out means get out of the way. Okay is released, right? So I'm gonna grab one of my dogs and show you what I'm talking about from a different angle, but those are the words that we're working. All right, here we go. This is me doing the watch out command. So if I am walking towards my dog, right before I step through them, I will give them the heads up that it's about to happen, and I'll say, watch out, and then my feet shuffle into them, and they'll move out of the way as I keep walking, right? Not traumatized, no big deal. I don't want to do this so much that I turn into a bully or a jerk. Like I'm not going to just find random moments to walk through them for no reason whatsoever. But especially when they are tethered to me. If the dog was tethered to me right now and I want to go that way, because that's the corner I got to go around, I'm going to say, watch out, and then step right through them so I can keep walking, right? No big deal. That shouldn't be traumatic for them, and it's not going to be heavy compulsion. And the point, again, isn't to shuffle through them. The point is to be able to not have to shuffle through them. The point is to be able to say, watch out, and have them yield you space without you shuffling through them. And again, it's not about dominance, it's not about any of that nonsense, it's about being able to tell the dog what you need from them. For example, I open the door, I'm carrying groceries. My dog's excited to see me, they're all underfoot. Instead of shuffling through them or going place or whatever, instead of having to place the dog or down the dog, I can just say, watch out, and they'll give me a little bit of space and I can walk through nicely. It lets them be more at liberty, because if I have to say down or I have to say place or crate or whatever in order to do that same situation, I'm reducing their liberty by a greater degree by making them more positionally fixed rather than just being able to tell them what I actually need, which is, hey, watch out, get out from underfoot for a second and I'm gonna love on you in a minute. Does that make sense? So like watch out and then take that space. Watch out and then take that space. And then eventually, just like anything else, they should preempt the pattern and you shouldn't need to shuffle through. You should just be able to say watch out and they'll move out of the way. So drag line is on the dog. Drag line is on the dog in this stage of management. So I always have the ability to do this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk up to an object and I'm going to say, Mabel, up. Good girl. That's my good girl. You so pretty. Good job. Good. We'll do a rep of stay, stay. I'm going to walk off. If she were to get down, it is no big deal. I would just go up, and replace her, put her back up on the object because I said stay. I don't care if she downs, I don't care if she sits, I don't care if she does whatever. I just don't want her to get down off the object. So she can do any of that. All that shuffling around is good. Now, I can tell her the release word, and she knows it, so she likely would just jump down when I say it, but you might have to actually guide them off to show them that it is all right for them to get off. Okay, good girl. So I didn't have to guide her, but I did. So then we're gonna walk over here. Here's another object. Mabel, up. Good girl. That's a good girl. Stay. Good girl. That is doing it on objects. Okay. She's like, I'm actually comfortable. And I'm not gonna make her get off the bed when this happens. When I say okay and she decides, now I'm gonna stay here, that's fine. Because okay doesn't mean get off the bed. Okay means you're at liberty, you can do what you want. If what you wanna do is chill, you can absolutely chill. Right? But for the purpose of teaching the release word on a dog that doesn't actually know it, on a dog that is not sure what's going on, then I'll guide them off the bed. You can always grab that drag line. Okay. Good girl. And she'll learn right then, oh, I got it. Up means get up, stay means stay, and okay means I can get off the bed. So let's look at a doorway, another really common place for it. Okay, at a doorway, here's what I'm gonna do. I can use the drag line that I always have on the dog in the beginning of training, or I can use spatial pressure or body pressure. I'm gonna open the door, but before I open the door, I'm gonna tell the dog what I want, because what I need to do is start to make this sound followed by this picture. Stay, I said, I used a little bit of pressure on the leash. The dog learns to stay at that threshold, no big deal. I don't care if they sit, I don't care if they're down, I don't care what they do. I just care that they learn to stay at that threshold. And then I can say, okay. And then they'll come on out the door. One more rep, this time without the leash. Stay. Good girl. You're so beautiful. I know you hate doing this work that's not drive work. Okay. Yeah, baby girl. Gosh, man.